Mrs. Lewis, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, this is a notice and call of a special meeting of the Los Banos City Council chambers at 520 J Street, Los Banos, California, December 16th, 2020 at 3:45 p.m. Please take notice that Mayor Mike Villalta hereby calls a special meeting of the Los Banos City Council pursuant to Government Code Section 54956. And City Council meeting agenda taking place again at 3:45 p.m. Temporary public comment and email established for the City of Los Banos City Council meeting on December 16th, 2020. Emails must be received by 3:45 p.m. The city has established a temporary email address that can be used to email public comments on any agenda item limited to 250 words or less. Any public comments received by December 16th, 2020, prior to 3:45 p.m. will be read aloud during the appropriate time and agenda item. The email address is cityclerk@losbanos.org. City council chambers are closed to the public. Those interested in viewing the city council meeting can do so on the City of Los Banos website it's at YouTube. I won't read the entire address. Okay, so now at this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order at 3:48 p.m. And Chief Breezy, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Okay, roll call, Director Melanie.
Maria.
Here.
Johnson Santos.
Here.
Jones.
Present.
Lewis.
Here.
Villalta.
Here, we do have a quorum. Consideration of approval of agenda. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Okay, Mrs. Lewis, you were first. Veronica, you are second.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Okay, Mrs. Santos.
Second.
It's been motioned by Lewis, second by Santos for the approval of the special meeting agenda. And let's go to Mr. Faria.
Yes.
Johnson Santos.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Villalta, yes. Motion carried unanimously. Item number 5, public forum. Members of the public may address the city council members on any item of public interest that is within the jurisdiction of the city council, which includes agenda and non-agenda items. No action will be taken on non-agenda items, and speakers may submit their comments by submitting a written statement limited to 250 words or less by dropping it off in the utility box at City Hall at 520 J Street, or by mail or emailing to cityclerk@losbanos.org. Comments received will be read into the record during the city council meeting. Okay, is there anyone, if we had received any comments, Director Melanie?
I've received no comments.
Okay, is there anyone online who would like to comment? Not hearing any, I will now close the public forum. Let's go on to item 6, City Council Resolution number 6298, approving the tentative agreement, memorandum of understanding between, by and between the City of Los Banos and the Los Banos Police Dispatchers Community Service Officers Association, Local 1/AFS CME Council 57, LBPD CSOA, from December 16th, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. And we're going to go to Human Resources Director Melanie.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. After many months of labor negotiating with the dispatchers, I finally received a signed tentative agreement from them late yesterday afternoon. And it includes an agreement of a 2% COLA, some changes to health insurance that would ultimately cap the contribution by the city to $2,600 a month. And then we also agreed to FTO pay at 5% for both the dispatchers and the CSOs. And we also included some cleanup language to the entire MOU. So I just want to thank you for allowing a special meeting to happen so that these items could get adopted by you so that they could reap the benefits as soon as possible.
Thank you. No problem. All right. Do we have any questions by City Council at this time? All right. Any further comments by staff? None? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved by Faria. Do I have a second?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Lewis, I'll second the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Faria, second by Lewis, for the approval of City Council Resolution number 6298 as read by title. Faria?
Yes.
Johnson Santos?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Peralta, yes. Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Council. Item number 7, City Council Resolution number 6299, amending Division 4 salary schedule, employee classification related to changes in Section G, police associated with the LBPD CSOA tentative agreements, memorandums of understanding. Director Maloney?
And again, this is just the second part of the TA that you just approved, and this just sets their 2% salary for each step.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from council? Any further comments from staff?
I have a comment that I'd like to make. I would just like to thank, of course, the City Council for their support, not just through this round of negotiations, but through all the past rounds of negotiations. I'd also want to thank the Finance Director, Sonia Williams, and the City Manager, Alex Terrazas, for all of their support to me through the process. It's been very much appreciated.
Thank you. All right, with that, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Go ahead, Ms. Santos.
Okay, I have a motion from Mrs. Santos. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's motion by Santos, second by Faria, for the approval of City Council Resolution 6299 as read by title. And let's go to roll call. Faria?
Yes.
Johnson Santos?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Peralta, yes. Motion carried unanimously. Okay, is there any other business before the City Council at this time, Director Maloney?
Well, I think that's it. So we can adjourn and just hang on until 4 o'clock.
Okay, but we're going to adjourn, and are we going to stay on this site, or are we going to re-log in?
No, you're going to just adjourn this meeting and stay here on screen until 4 o'clock.
Okay, that'll work. Okay, so at this time, I would like to adjourn the special meeting of 3:45 at 3:56 p.m. Meeting adjourned. Don't leave, Council.
Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, we have everyone. Are we ready?
We do have everyone. And
Okay.
it looks like we still have, yes, all the council members. Yes, we're good to go, Mayor.
All right. All right. Well, it's 4:14, and welcome to the City Council meeting virtually from the City Council chambers at 520 J Street on December 16th, 2020. And again, the meeting is going to start at 4:15. Temporary public comment email established for the City of Los Banos City Council meeting of December 16th, 2020. Emails must be received by 4 p.m. The city has established a temporary email address citizens can use to email public comments on any item, limited to 250 words or less. Any public comments received by December 16th, 2020, prior to 4 p.m., will be read aloud during the appropriate time and agenda item. The email address is cityclerk@losbanos.org. Public comment during the public hearings will be taken in real time via email. Once the public hearing is open, the City Council will pause the meeting in order to receive emails directed at the public hearing up to 250 words and will read comments into the record after resuming the meeting as time permits. Please indicate that comments for a particular public hearing by putting public hearing in the subject line of the email and the title of the public hearing. City Council chambers are closed to the public. Those interested in viewing the City Council meeting can do so on the city's website, which will redirect you to YouTube. So at this time, I would like to call to order the regular meeting of December 16th, 2020. And could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Chief, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, let's go. Number 3, roll call with these 5 individuals for the last time. Okay, Director Maloney, would you call roll?
Korea,
Here.
Johnson Santos,
Here.
Jones,
Present.
Lewis,
Here.
Peralta.
Here, we do have a quorum. Consideration of approval of agenda. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, can you make the note to remove the item, please?
I'm sorry, to remove what?
Please note that item 11F on the consent agenda needs to be removed per city staff request.
All right. City Council Resolution number 6295 needs to be removed.
Yes, item 11F on the consent agenda per
Okay,
staff's request.
okay. All right. So per staff request, when someone makes the motion, would you make the motion, please, with the consideration of the approval of the agenda with the removal of item F on the consent agenda? Who would like to do that?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Go ahead.
I would like to approve the consent agenda minus item number 11F per
Okay.
staff's recommendation.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Mr. May, I'll second that motion.
Thank you. It's been motioned by Veronica Johnson Santos and seconded by Mrs. Lewis for the approval of the agenda minus item F on the consent agenda. And let's go to Faria.
Yes.
Johnson Santos,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Villalta, yes. Motion carries unanimously. Consideration of certification of votes of municipal election, November 3rd, 2020. City Council Resolution number 6290, certifying results of the Merced County general election held in the city of Los Banos on November 3rd, 2020, as it pertains to the election of the mayor and the city council members for districts 1 and 4. Okay, any discussion, or do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Lewis, I'd like to make a motion to accept the certification of the votes of the municipal election for November 3rd, 2020.
Okay, do I have a second?
Mayor, I'll
I'll
second
second that, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, it's been motioned by Lewis, second by Jones for the certification of the election results. City Council Resolution number 6290 as read by title. Mr. Faria,
Yes.
Johnson Santos,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Villalta, yes. Motion carries. Item number 6, administration of oath of office to elected officials, and Mayor Manuel Thomas Faria III, council members Kenneth Lambert, District 1, and Deborah Lewis, District 4. Okay, and we're going to do these individually. Is that correct, Director Maloney? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Why don't you take over?
All right, Mayor Faria, if you'd raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Manuel Thomas Faria III,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties upon
the duties upon
which I am about to enter.
which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next will be Council Member Kenneth Lambert.
Councilmember Lambert, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Kenneth Lambert,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California.
that I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental replication
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties upon
the duties upon
which I am about to enter.
which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Councilmember Lewis.
Councilmember Lewis, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Deborah Lewis,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties upon
the duties upon
which I'm about to enter.
which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mayor Faria, would you please call roll for your new council?
City Clerk Maloney,
Councilmember Jones,
Present.
Councilmember Lambert,
Present.
Councilmember Lewis,
Here,
Mayor Faria.
here. Thank you. I have the honor of reading these resolutions to adopt. The first is resolution number 6291 for Veronica Johnson Santos. Whereas Veronica Johnson Santos was elected as council member of Los Banos December 7, 2016. And whereas Veronica Johnson Santos has faithfully served the city of Los Banos and its city council for 4 years as council member. And whereas by her devotion to her duties, Veronica Johnson Santos has greatly contributed to the governmental process of the city of Los Banos. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Los Banos that it hereby expresses its sincere gratitude and appreciation to Veronica Johnson Santos for her service to the city of Los Banos in her capacity of council member. Be it further resolved that an embossed copy of this resolution be presented to Veronica Johnson Santos. And the chair will entertain a motion to adopt City Council Resolution 6291.
Mr. Mayor. Okay.
Motion by Ms. Lewis. Do I have a second?
I will second that with a few words if I may. I
Yes,
want to
thank
thank everybody once again. The city has been wonderful. Kenneth, I know you'll do a wonderful job. Good luck to you in your future next 4 years. And Tom, really, I'm really happy that you're mayor now. So I second that. So thank you.
Mayor, we need to have someone other than Ms. Johnson Santos second that.
Okay,
Mayor, I'll second that.
thank you, Mr. Jones. So we have a motion by Ms. Lewis, a second by Mr. Jones to adopt City Council Resolution number 6291. Roll call vote.
Jones,
Oh, City Clerk
Yes.
Maloney, roll call votes, correct?
yes.
Okay, very good.
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes. Thank you. And it's been a great honor to have you next to me in the city council chamber, having taught you all those years ago. It's been an outstanding honor to be your teacher and your fellow council member. Thank you, Ms. Johnson Santos. Our next resolution is a resolution of commendation to Mayor Michael Villalta. And this is City Council Resolution number 6292. Whereas Michael Villalta was elected as council member of Los Banos on November 27th, 2006, and mayor of Los Banos on December 1, 2010. And whereas Michael Villalta has faithfully served the city of Los Banos and its city council for 4 years as council member and 10 years as mayor. And whereas by his devotion to his duties, Michael Villalta has greatly contributed to the governmental process of the city of Los Banos. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the city of Los Banos that it hereby expresses its sincere gratitude and appreciation to Michael Villalta for his service to the city of Los Banos in his capacity of city council member and mayor. Be it further resolved that an embossed copy of this resolution be presented to Michael Villalta. And I'll entertain a motion to adopt City Council Resolution number 6292.
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Lewis, it's with great pleasure that I would like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 6292, a resolution of commendation for Mike Villalta.
Motion by Ms. Lewis. Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'd like to second that, please.
Second by Mr. Jones. So I have a motion by Ms. Lewis and a second by Mr. Jones. If there's any discussion, if there's no discussion, we'll move straight to the vote. Roll call vote. City Clerk Maloney?
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Maria.
Yes. Motion carried unanimously. And now, we have a couple of things. First, for Ms. Johnson Santos, Supervisor Silvera sent this over for you from the Board of Supervisors. It is a certificate of recognition for your years of service as council member. And it'll be here at City Hall for you. And then also the same certificate for Mayor Mike Villalta. And this will be here at City Hall for you. And we also, Mayor Villalta, will, with great honor, present to you a gavel. I understand you already have it.
I was told not to open it.
Ah, I just blew it. Sorry.
Oh, is this what I'm to open, Lucy?
Yes, please.
Okay. Mr. Faria, may I have a couple of minutes to make some comments after I look at this?
Absolutely, Mayor Villalta.
This isn't the one I've used for 10 years, is it?
No.
Oh.
I haven't used it lately either.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It's a great honor that I accept this. I have to tell you that, I don't want to get emotional over this, but staff, you have been absolutely wonderful to me. The 10 years that I spent as mayor and the 4 years as council member, Mr. Faria and I started this journey together in 2006. And I can tell you, and I can speak for both of us when I say it's been a ride. It's been a great ride. And for me, it's over. For Mr. Faria, it goes on. And the staff, you have educated me. You have trained me. You have showed me how to be a city council member and a mayor. Now, you may not think so, but you have. And through that, we've developed a relationship that is second to none. And we've accomplished many, many things. I would name everyone, but I don't want to, at this time, I don't want to forget anyone. That's why I'm referring to staff at this time, department heads. I just don't want to forget anyone, and I will never hurt anyone's feelings. And I'm just overwhelmed, and I'm awestruck at the professionalism that the staff has shown me all these years, and the public and other council members. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We've accomplished some good things, and we're going to accomplish a lot more. To my council members, what can I say? You've made it just easy for me to be a mayor. You've reacted professionally. You've conducted yourselves with great accord and have always displayed good judgment. I can't thank you enough for working with this present council and past councils. My hat goes off to you for wanting to do this job, because it's not an easy job. And I just can't thank you enough for everything that you've done. It was a joy being the mayor of Los Banos for the last 10 years and on the city council for 4. A real joy. And I can't think of a better job to have. So with that, I would just ask a couple of things. Keep Los Banos first. And that should be the slogan going first. Los Banos first. If you remember that, we're going to be fine. And I'll just leave you with one tidbit of information that probably Alex and I know, and that's that we've secured use of the migrant center out on the south end of town by Henry Miller, and we've also secured some funds. The county wants to partner with us for a winter homeless shelter. So, but the county does not have anyone to run it. The biggest gift you could give to me as a parting gift would be to establish that homeless shelter and find someone to run it so we can save the lives of homeless. That's the immediate need right now, and I hope we can accomplish that. So I task you with that request. So with that, you need to get on with your council meeting. Thank you to all, and thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Villalta. Yes, it's been a long run and a good one. And I believe under your leadership, this council has established this excellent foundation for us to push forward into the new decade. Thanks again, and all the best now with your extra time.
And all the best to you, Mayor Faria. I'm pleased that you are my successor.
Thank you very much. It's an honor.
Thank you. So now I'm going to exit out, not because I'm rude, but because it's your meeting.
Thank you, Mayor.
Good night.
Good night. Now we're going to take a short recess for the transition of our new member of the City Council. Normally we have a big change around at the dais, which we don't have a dais. So do we want to take a recess, or do we want to just move on?
I think Council Member Veronica Johnson Santos has left, and so has Mayor Villalta, so we can continue on.
Okay. So then the first order of business next is the reorganization of City Council, the selection of the Mayor Pro Tem. Normally that's done by a motion from the Mayor, and I would like to move that we name Council Member Lewis Mayor Pro Tem for 2021, and from here on to 21. Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'd like to second that.
Okay. I have a motion by the mayor and a second, Mr. Jones, to name Councilmember Lewis Mayor Pro Tem. Roll call vote.
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes. And thank you, Councilmember Lewis, for taking on that mantle for the year. Very much look forward to working with you there. Now, we will move on to the public forum. And the members of the public may address the city council members on any item of public interest that is within the jurisdiction of the city council. This includes agenda and non-agenda items. No action will be taken on non-agenda items. Speakers may submit their comments by submitting a written statement limited to 250 words or less, by dropping it off in the utility payment box at City Hall, 520 J Street, by mail, or email to cityclerk@losbanas.org. Comments received will be read into the record during the city council meeting. City Clerk Maloney, do we have any public forum comments?
I'm gonna refresh my email because it's been a while. Let me see if I've gotten anything. I've received no comments.
Having received no comments, we will move on to item 11. And item 11, consideration approval of consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be voted on in one motion unless removed by the consent agenda from the consent agenda by a city council member. City Clerk Maloney, please read the consent agenda for us.
Items on the consent agenda are as follows. Warrants numbers 224824 through 224981 in the amount of $750,440.49. Minutes for the December 2nd, 2020 City Council meeting. Measure P Oversight Committee Report. City Council Resolution number 6293, accepting public improvements for South Point at Regent Park, Phase 1, for Stonefield Home, Inc. City Council Resolution number 6294, accepting public improvements for Mission Village South, Phase 5A, Stonefield Home. And item 11F was removed at the beginning of the City Council meeting. And the
Thank
items
you.
are approved as submitted.
Thank you very much. Do any council members wish to remove for either discussion or a separate vote any of the items on the consent agenda? Seeing and hearing none, Chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Lewis, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'll second that.
I thank you. I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lewis and a second by Councilmember Jones to approve the consent agenda as submitted. City Clerk Maloney, roll call, please.
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes. I must say I've been voting first all my life. It's a very for 14 years being the first to vote, and now I'm the last to vote. So it's another interesting change. All right, so we'll move on to number 12, public hearing. If you challenge the proposed action as described herein in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at the public hearing described herein, or in written correspondence delivered to the city at or prior to the public hearing. The public hearing, item A, is to receive public comment and consideration of a categorical exemption from the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, and conditional use permit number 2020-4 to allow the use of a type 47 alcohol license for the on sale of general alcohol in conjunction with a bona fide eating establishment for Jams at 209 Sports Bar and Grill, located at 516 I Street, APN 025-191-017. And we will go to Community and Economic Development Director Elms.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. So this item before you tonight has a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to pull that up for us. Here we go. We are pretty excited about this project. This is a conditional use permit for Jams at 209 Sports Bar and Grill. Next slide. A little bit of background on this particular project. The Planning Commission did consider this conditional use permit and recommended approval to Los Banos City Council on November 25th. This particular project is located in the downtown area of the city of Los Banos. It's located at 516, 518, 520 I Street. And it was originally built in 1949 as the Crest Theater. This is an iconic building in our downtown. It has had many uses in its lifetime. It was originally, as I said, built as a theater, the Crest Theater. Then it was used as a roller rink, and that's my earliest memories of this building, living in Los Banos, growing up here. It was a gymnastics studio. It was a church for then 20 years. And then it sat vacant for the last several years. And the applicant, Mr. David Souza, has purchased this building and is investing in its renovation. He operates two other Jams at 209, one in Atwater and one in Turlock. They are successful sports bars and grills in those communities, and we're excited to welcome him here to our community. Next slide. So the proposal consists of a use permit for a Type 47 alcohol license. This is for the on sale of general alcohol in conjunction with a bona fide eating place. These types of licenses are regulated by the California Department of Alcohol Beverage Control, which is EDC. The proposed hours of operation for Jams at 209 would be Sunday through Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. Next slide. This is the location of the project. As I previously stated, it's at 516 I Street. It is zoned mixed use within the downtown area, boundary planning area, and it is proposed to be a categorical exemption in that it is an existing facility. Next slide. According to CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act, we deemed this project as a categorical exemption pursuant to Article 19, Section 15301, that it is an existing facility. Next slide. The use permit was analyzed in accordance, next slide, in accordance with the Los Banos Municipal Code, which provides criteria for conditional use permits and then has additional criteria, which are findings for any uses with alcoholic beverages. And so we did analyze the project in accordance with those findings, and all of which are within the staff report and the resolution. And also, we do want to note that the issuing authority is ABC, the Alcohol Beverage Control of the state of California. The next slide shows the census tract. This particular project is in census tract 22.01, which does encompass the downtown district area. There are considerable uses that already have ABC licenses. There are 14, and this would add an additional on-sale license to this particular census tract. And then to highlight, there are 5 other on-sale licenses on I Street. We do feel that this particular request at this time is different than the existing conditional use permit on I Street, or the existing alcohol licenses on I Street, in that this particular request will be in conjunction with a bona fide eating place. Also, this use, we feel, will be a catalyst for downtown, especially this block of I Street, and could create and enhance a desirable atmosphere and create activity for downtown. Next slide. So this is the floor plan proposed. Currently, right now, the applicant is working on engineered and architectural plans for the renovation of the interior of the building. And this is a conceptual plan of the camera location based on the proposed floor plan. And a condition of approval does require that the exterior and interior surveillance cameras are to be in substantial satisfaction by the police chief. So the police chief will be reviewing the ultimate configuration. This is an existing photo of, it's actually the building of the Crest Theater prior to its renovation. Next slide. Is a photo after the exterior renovation. This is a new photo taken within about the last month or so. And then the next slide, I did want to include the building at night, which is beautiful with the new lighting. It illuminates the architectural features of the building, and you can see that this building, with its renovation, has brought its iconic beauty, back to the building. Next slide. Public comment. Public hearing notices were mailed to adjacent property owners within 300 feet, and it was posted in and published within the Los Angeles Enterprise on December 4th, 2020. And as of today's date, no comments have been received. So with that, staff is recommending that the City Council adopt resolution number 6296, finding the proposed project to be categorically exempt from CEQA, and approving conditional use permit number 2020-04 to allow the on-sale of general alcohol through a Type 47 alcohol license for Jams at 209 Sports Bar and Grill located at 516 I Street. That concludes my presentation, and the applicant, Mr. David Souza, is on the line in case there are any additional questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Zelms. We'll now go to the public hearing and check with City Clerk Melanie to see if we've received any comments by email.
I just checked, we've received no comments during this public hearing item.
Thank you. Having received no comments, we will close the public hearing. Go to council. Does council have any questions of staff or the applicant?
Mayor, I don't have a question, but I do have a quick statement.
Mr. Jones.
You know, this is something that we've been looking forward to for a long time now in the city, especially with the Crest Theater. So far, this is the best that Crest Theater has looked in probably at least 35 years. So I know I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm sure the rest of you guys are too as well.
Thank you. Anyone else, any other council members with comments or questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Lewis. I also wanted to add, looking at the before picture that Stacy showed us and the after, it's just a remarkable difference. And it's a beautiful building. The lighting is exceptional, and it's just an uplift to our downtown, especially on I Street. And so I want to thank the owner and developer for taking on this project and seeing Los Banos as being worthy of having this business here in our downtown area.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Any other, Mr. Lambert, any questions or comments of staff or the applicant?
No, sir, not at this time.
Thank you very much. Chair will entertain a motion to.
Yes, Mayor.
City Council. Of course,
Oh,
I
sorry.
have a resolution before we move on. And it's City Council resolution. I got so excited about this beautiful building that I almost skipped a step. It's quite beautiful, and having grown up in this valley, every town had a beautiful theater, and so it's nice to see them brought back. Here we go. City Council Resolution number 6296, finding the proposed project to be categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Section 158301, existing facilities, and approving conditional use permit 2020-04 to allow for the on-sale of general alcohol under a Type 47 alcohol license at 516 I Street, more specifically identified as assessor's parcel number 025-191-017. Do I have a motion to approve?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve
Mr. Jones?
City Council. Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve City Council Resolution 6296 as submitted.
Do I have a second?
Mr.
Mayor.
Mayor, go ahead. Go ahead,
Okay.
Council.
Mr. Lambert?
Mayor, Kenneth, I second that.
I have a motion by Mr. Jones, a second by Mr. Lambert to approve City Council Resolution number 6296. City Clerk Maloney, roll call?
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Maria.
Yes. Motion carried unanimously. Looking forward to seeing the completion of the project.
Thank you, everyone, very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for bringing the
Appreciate it.
project down.
Okay, thank you.
Now we'll move on to the issue of the city council member vacancy, District 2. My election to the mayor's seat has opened up my seat on council, which is the District 2 seat, which since we've been in districts, every council member has a district. So we're going to go to City Attorney Vaughn to discuss the various ways we can go about dealing with and handling, addressing the member vacancy. Mr. Vaughn, City Attorney Vaughn.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Welcome, Mr. Lambert, to the council. You have a staff report in your packet that was authored by Lucy Maloney and myself, which lays out the steps that can be taken to fill this vacancy. And essentially it boils down to two items that you need to consider. Number one, pursuant to the government code and the elections code, you can fill the vacancy through an appointment process, number one, or number two, and its alternative, through an election. I've laid out the appointment process for you in the staff report and a potential schedule. I call it a tentative schedule for you to consider in moving forward to start the appointment process. If you would rather do it by election, the first available date for the election would be November of 2021. Ms. Maloney and I have attempted to get cost estimates from the elections official at the County of Merced, and as of this today, we haven't received any estimate of the cost of what that might be. But our best guesstimate would be in the $20,000 to $30,000 range to conduct such an election. And that election would be conducted just for the voters of District 2. Thinking that it's not a great way to do business to have 4 councilmen for the next year, staff is pretty much leaning towards a application process, an appointment process. And as part of that, we have provided you a notice of vacancy that we would like to publish and disseminate tomorrow, which would open up the application period for those who are residing in District 2 to apply for the seat. The tentative schedule allows the application process to last through the day before of your next meeting, at which time we would anticipate presenting to you the applications that have been received to that point, allow you any discussion you might like to have concerning those applications, and then a 2-week period till the next meeting to allow you time to review those applications and invite the applicants in to the city council meeting for a brief interview. The tentative schedule is set forth on the on the third page of your staff report. It is a somewhat aggressive schedule because we are only allotted 60 days from today to fill the seat, either by appointment or calling for an election. So we kind of have a tight time frame in order to allow people an opportunity to submit an application to you, and an opportunity for you to vet those applications, an opportunity possibly to interview those applicants, and then deliberate on who you'd like to select to fill that seat. The applicant pool is limited to persons 18 years of age, registered voters, residents of District 2. I don't know how many people that is. If this last election was any indication, it's approximately 1/4 of 13,000 people potentially that you would have a pool of applicants from. We're not suggesting at this time a process for selecting someone from that applicant pool, only because we think the process might be different should you get 2 applications versus should you get 10 applications. So we purposefully not set forth a step-by-step in terms of after the applications are received, because we would anticipate that our recommendation would be different depending on what the volume is of applicants. We have no idea how many people are interested in applying for this. It would be Lucy and my job to vet the applications to make sure that they are qualified. In other words, that they are registered voters and they are residents within District 2 before you start considering those applications. And then possibly at the next meeting, we can discuss how you wish to proceed from that point forward, and still have the option to decide to go forward with an election if that's what you plan on doing. In the 16 or 17 years that I've done this for you, we've had probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 appointments, and the city council has always chosen to do it by appointment as opposed to election, for the reasons I stated before: the cost, number one, and number two, being without that 5th council person for a significant period of time while you're trying to do business with 4. Could lead to tie votes and things like that, which you want to try to avoid. So if you look at the back of the staff report is the notice. We tried to be comprehensive in terms of what the job entails, so that those that are interested at least have some type of an understanding of what will be expected of them in terms of number of meetings per month, the type of requirements that would be required of them once they were seated as a city council person in terms of filling out Form 700s, going through the ethics training, so on and so forth. The term of office would end at the next election in November 2022. Is that right? Yeah. 2022, where there would be an election to fill that seat from those residents of District 2. We've also prepared we've included a map of the district to help out those people that may not know what district they're in, and also prepared an application for your consideration. We try to keep it short, concise, to the point, so that you get a sense of the applicant from the filled out application, and then an opportunity later on to have that person come before you and tell you why they should be the next person to sit in that seat. So that's essentially what's going on here. The drop dead date is February 14th in terms of, yeah. So, I mean, it is 60 days, but that 60 days will go fast. It only covers like 3 meetings, council meetings. So we would try to avoid to call a special meeting to deal with this. So we'd like to get started tomorrow, and started by publicizing the vacancy and making the applications available to those who are interested. So thank you very much, Lucy, for helping me put this all together. And if you have we're basically asking for some direction tonight that want to at least start the appointment process by making the notice available along with the application. And then we will report back to you at the next meeting and disseminate any applications we've received and discuss the next step. So that's what I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. I will say this, I think there was one appointment process that I was involved in where there was a 2-2 tie in terms of the selection, and it went over at least 2 meetings before that seated council could break the tie. So we've kind of left ourselves some room, some wiggle room, just in case we have a deadlock like that. Hopefully we won't. So I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. I'll go through council. I'll go through one at a time, asking which council members may have questions of the city attorney or recommendations. Mr. Jones?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. About the only thing I can think of is just, I know we're going to have a little bit of issues in the future with redistricting the maps. There's some cleaning up on some boundaries that we're going to have to do to kind of straighten things out. So that's something that's going to be needing to keep in mind when we're appointing the next District 2 seat, is kind of whereabouts do they live, and will that be right on the borderline where they might fall into another district that should probably be straightened out.
So if I can respond to that, Council Member Jones, we are required every 10 years after the census to do another study and to reconfigure those district boundaries. The census, everything that I've heard is the census will not be completed till this summer. And once the summer happens, we've already been in touch with our consultants who helped us the first time, and to get them on board with the process for the redistricting. You're right, there will be some redistricting done. It will not affect anybody who's seated at the time of the redistricting, and it's kind of a phase-in approach. But I, no doubt, because of the population change in Los Banos over since we did the initial districts, the district boundary lines will need to be redrawn. It's a very complicated process. It requires, for instance, 4 public hearings. It requires a website dedicated to the redistricting to get the message out to the community. It's about a 1 year to 18-month process to do that. We've already reached out to our consultant and asked for a estimate of the cost of getting them on board to start that. But essentially, the start date is the date that the census has been certified. So it will not affect whoever you seat in this district at this point in time, because that process has to be completed before the next election. So District 2, whatever the new configuration will be done prior to the next election, and whoever's going to run for that seat at that time. I think it's your District 2, Mr. Jones, that's up for election next time. And so even if that district is reconfigured, it'll be before that election happens, so that we have the candidates from the right districts. So hope that answered your question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn, Mr. Jones. Mr. Lambert, any questions or comments from the city attorney or recommendations?
No questions at this time, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Lewis?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bill, once the applications have been vetted by staff, what will be the exact process for council to be able to review the applications? Are they going to be given to us so that we can look over them and kind of regurgitate what's in it before we meet the applicants at council meeting?
So if I could draw your attention to this tentative schedule that I put, I think it's on the third page of the staff report. That's exactly what we're going to do. They actually, at the next meeting, which would be January 6th, we would distribute those applications to you. You could ask any questions to us in terms of those applications at that time. And the applications will also be posted on our website for the public to see. It has to be a transparent process, so that the public knows who's applying for the job as well. And then at the meeting of the 20th, which is 2 weeks after that, is when we might have the first round of interviews, depending on how many applicants there are and how you want to proceed in terms of the interviews. I thought on January 6th, we would talk a little bit more about fine-tuning that process based on the number of applicants and applications that you get. So if we have 2 applicants, it's pretty easy to review those and start and interview people at the next meeting. If we have 20 applicants, then we're going to have to kind of think about how we do that process. But in answer to your question, yes, you will have ample time to review those applications prior to the applicants interviewing with the city council.
Thank you. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Lewis. Just to clarify, staff is recommending we put out the application beginning tomorrow, put out the vacancy notice, and then adopt a procedure after we see the number of applicants who've applied. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think if you're okay with the timetable, the tentative timetable, that we'll go by the timetable for now until you decide you want to change it for some reason, depending on the number of applications or whatever's going on at the time. So we're just asking for permission to go ahead and advertise the vacancy, accept applications, and bring those back to you on January 6th for further direction on what the next steps would be.
Very good. Chair will entertain a motion to that effect. Do I have a motion?
Okay, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Lewis, I didn't realize it was a motionable item.
Oh, yeah. My worksheet says I need a motion, an action.
Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Well, then I'd like to make a motion to accept the city's application proposal for appointing a city council member to District 2. There's nothing on there telling me how to make the motion, so I'm just making it up.
Yeah, we just want your high sign that we can publicize the vacancy and accept applications.
With that, adding that as well.
Very good. We craft the motion in process here. And do I have a second?
Mayor, I'd like to second that.
Mr. Jones, second. So we have a motion by Councilmember Lewis, a second by Councilmember Jones to give direction to staff to advertise the vacancy and follow the procedure they have recommended. Roll call vote. Ms. Maloney?
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Faria.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, council.
Now we move to item 14. Considering approval of City Council Resolution number 6297, authorizing the city manager to execute the amendment to professional services agreement for solid waste consulting services with R3 Consulting Group, Inc. in the amount of $39,140 with a 10% contingency of $3,900 and adopt a revised budget for the fiscal year 2020-21 as it pertains to the solid waste fund account. And for this item, we will go to Assistant Public Works Director. Is that pronounced correctly?
That is absolutely perfectly pronounced. Thank you for that. You're the first person in probably 15, 20 years.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I make my living pronouncing languages, so if you don't mind,
Thank you.
If you don't mind me asking, what is the language?
The origin is, it's a Persian name, and
Oh.
Pizash means doctor. My grandfather was a doctor, and about 80, 90 years ago, he changed the family name to his profession, Pizash.
Oh, very, very cool. Very cool. I love.
Well, I'm an engineer.
Pardon me?
Mr. Mayor, if I might make one comment
Yes, sir.
and take this opportunity to actually introduce interim public works / city engineer director, Mr. Pajes. So again, I've made an interim appointment of, I'm going to call him Fred at this point, of Fred as the interim director. So again, just take this opportunity to introduce Fred in this capacity. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this, Alex. I'm honored, and I appreciate your confidence in me. Mr. Mayor and members of the council, the item that we have before you, as Mr. Mayor explained and read out based on the staff report, has to do with the amendment to the professional services agreement with R3 Consulting Group. As a background, a little bit of background here, we entered into professional services agreement with the R3 Consulting Group in June of 2019, primarily to assist the city with the process of developing and negotiating a new contract for solid waste disposal. They helped the city with developing the request for proposals, reviewing the proposals, evaluating them, conducting interviews, making selection recommendations, and also assisting us with contract negotiations. As you're aware, the city executed a contract with a new solid waste contractor, Mid-Valley Disposal, which was approved by the council on November 4, and which will become effective on July 1st, 2021, the day after the existing contract for solid waste disposal expires. Currently, we are in the process of transitioning to the new contract, and we believe this is the right opportunity and a needed opportunity here for us to recommend that we conduct a rate study to make sure that the anticipated revenues are still sufficient to cover the anticipated new costs. And I will explain in a minute what we expect to be new. The last time that the city did a rate study, I believe, I'm told, is 2011, long before I came to the city, so I take their word for it. We are also recommending that we approach this study with the full intention of conducting a Prop 218 notification process and adoption of necessary new refuse rates effective July 1st, 2021. Our consultant, R3, at this point does not anticipate any impact, any changes on residential rates. The only rate that they anticipate based on the new solid waste contractor, new laws, anticipated changes in tipping fees, that only commercial rates, new commercial rates for organics collection, contamination, overages, and other similar new charges will need to be noticed through 218 process. If the study finds that we do not need to make any adjustments, then we are still covered under the current Prop 218 notice, which I believe was passed in 2018 and sets the rate increases, caps it to 3.5% maximum increase per year through July 1st, 2023. But since there is a possibility of the adjustment or increasing the rates or establishing new rates for commercial customers, we wanted to include Prop 218 process already in the proposal and account for the cost of it and ask for the associated budget amendment, so we would not have to come back and before you and explain that and ask for another amendment, and in the process take more time from we only have from here until July 1st to make sure that these are affected. So in the interest of schedule, we wanted to make sure that that is included. I've attached the R3's proposal, which has quite a bit of detail as far as their approach to this process and how they're going to conduct the rate study and help us through the Prop 218 process. I've also outlined a few steps in my report. We also have Mr. Garth Schultz from R3 present. He's been patiently waiting online, and he will be happy to answer any questions that you have, technical questions, any questions regarding their proposal. As stated in my staff report and as Mr. Mayor read out at the beginning, the cost of the study is $39,140, and we are asking for a 10% contingency of $3,900. And to basically round it off with an estimate of $6,960, that's why it's so exact, $6,960 for legal reviews for the 218 process, and also for legal advertisement costs and other potential costs that they may actually come up. That is how we get to the requested amount of $50,000 for the budget amendment. And with that, we are ready to answer any questions. I see Garth is activated his video.
Thank you, Director Pazesh. Mr. Schultz, did you have anything that you wanted to add before we open up to council questioning?
No, simply to say, we've had a good working relationship with the city over the course of the last 18 months, and we do anticipate and agree with Fred's assessment. At this time, this is the best practice in terms of your refuse fund accounting, just to ensure that you have sustainable revenues to cover forecasted expenses into the future. It has been some time since this exercise was undertaken by the city. Based on our current knowledge of existing fund balance and revenues and expenses, we do fully believe at this point in time that adjustments to the residential rates and even the base commercial rates may not be necessary. The key takeaway for the council is just to note that under your new agreement, there are some new services to commercial subscribers that also meet the expectations of state law, and any adjustments that would need to be noticed would be around the margins for those types of activities and not affecting the broader pool of ratepayers throughout the city. So definitely available for questions. Just want to thank the council for the consideration, and we've enjoyed our working relationship with you. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll go to council for a question, comment. Mr. Jones, any questions of our staff and consultant? There we go.
I forgot I shut that off. No questions, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Lambert?
No questions here, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Lewis?
No questions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. So, I don't have any questions either, so we'll, move to, the motion. So who would like to make the motion? Chair will entertain a motion for,
Mr. Mayor, I'll make the motion, Councilmember Lewis.
thank you.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 6297 as read by title.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second it.
Mr. Lambert, second, Mr. Lambert. So I have a motion by Ms. Lewis, a second by Mr. Lambert, approving City Council Resolution number 6297 is read by title. Director Maloney, roll call, please.
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes. Motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much for the excellent work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz, for coming out tonight. We're going to go now to item 15, which is the appointment of council members to serve on the selection committees for the following commissions and committees. And for that, we'll go to City Clerk Maloney.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now's the opportunity for you guys to select each council member who's going to sit on the selection committee with the mayor. And what we've usually done in the past is we've used a rolling alphabetical list. And the next council member up is Councilmember Jones.
Thank you very much. And you'll notice on the agenda that there are five of these will require separate motions. And so we'll go to the first one, 15A, and that would be to appoint Councilmember Jones to, and I'll go ahead and make these as motions, if council doesn't mind, and then a second and then a vote. And I would move to appoint Councilmember Jones to the Airport Advisory Commission. And second,
Mayor, I second.
thank you, Mr. Lambert. So I have a motion by the mayor, second by Mr. Lambert, to approve, appoint Councilmember Jones to the Airport Advisory Commission Interview Committee with the mayor. Roll call vote, Ms. Maloney?
Jones,
Yes.
Lewis,
Did you say Lewis?
yes,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Maria.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, old habits.
Yep.
That was an old habit.
Item B, Economic Development Advisory Committee, Advisory Commission. This is a commission. And that is to, I move to recommend Councilmember Lambert to that position. Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'll second that.
Motion by the mayor, second by Mr. Jones. Roll call, Ms. Maloney?
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Maria.
Yes. Item C, Parks and Recreation Commission. There are 4 vacancies to fill there. And I would move to appoint Councilmember Lewis to that interview committee. Do I have a second?
Second that, Mayor.
I have a motion by the mayor, second by Mr. Jones. City Clerk Maloney, roll call, please.
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Maria.
Yes. Motion carried unanimously. Moving on to item D. The Planning Commission. We have 5 vacancies on the Planning Commission. And I move to appoint Councilmember Jones to that interview committee. Do I have a second?
Mayor, Lambert second.
I have a motion by the mayor, a second by Mr. Lambert to
Mr.
appoint
Mayor,
Councilmember
question?
Jones.
Question before the vote.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought that, since we were in districts that the council member who was elected to that district would be working with the mayor for the recommendations rather than an individual person.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
So the appointment that you just made is for the at-large appointment.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sorry about
Very
that.
good. Is that satisfactory, Ms. Lewis?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for pointing that out, and we appreciate that very much. All right. So we have a motion by the mayor and a second. Oh, no, no, I don't need. Yeah. Motion by the mayor to appoint Councilmember Jones to the Planning Commission Interview Committee. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Mayor. Councilmember Lewis.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Motion by the mayor, second by Ms. Lewis, to appoint Councilmember Jones to the Planning Commission Interview Committee. City Clerk Maloney, roll call.
And that was for the at-large appointment.
The at-large appointment, that is correct. We can make note of that.
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Maria.
Yes. So just to be clear, not the item, although the item is already passed and closed, the district, we still follow the pattern of the council member from the district sits with the mayor on the district appointment on the planning commission. This appointment was for the at-large appointment only, even though all the districts are listed there. Is that just to make sure that we have that correct for the record?
Yes.
Very
Mayor,
good.
if I may interrupt, how are you going to provide for District 2?
Let's see. Expires. Yeah.
Well, the reason I bring it up is there is no councilman in District 2 at the present
Correct.
time to sit on that committee with you. So you would.
Do we want to put this up to council staff? Do we want to wait until we have a District 2 council member seated after the process to see if we can get one seated by February? Or do we need? Do we want to work at or do we want to fill that planning commission seat right away, or do we?
I don't want to speak for the planning director, but I think she would prefer to have it filled as soon as possible. Maybe Mr. Jones could serve in that capacity as well, since he's the at-large person with you. He could serve in the capacity for District 2, but it's at the pleasure of the council as to how they want to handle that District 2 seat.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. So should we create a separate motion here?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Lewis.
Based on the schedule, we have February 14th is, I guess, the date that we're supposed to appoint a new council member. Just trying to look at a calendar here. Is the planning commission may or may not have one more meeting this month, and then 2 in the month of January, and 1 in February. So there are 3 meetings there. Stacy, what I'm hearing is that you feel that it's critical for those 3 meetings to have someone sitting in that seat.
Yeah, especially now that we're down to only 5 commissioners. If one person is sick, I could potentially, with only 4 members, not have a quorum for important business items that will be coming up to the planning commission.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. So I'll create a new motion to appoint Councilmember Jones as the District 2 council member to serve with the mayor on the interview committee. Do I have a second?
Mayor Kenneth, I
Yes,
second that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert. So a motion by the mayor, second by Mr. Lambert to appoint Mr. Jones to the District 2 Interview Committee. Roll call vote. Melanie?
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Maria.
Yes. Motion carried unanimously. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, could I get a brief update on the applications that we've received so far for the commissions? We've received 3 applicants for the airport, 3 applicants for the EDAC, 1 applicant for District 1, 3, and 4 for the Planning Commission, no applicants for District 2, 3 applicants for Measure H, and 1 applicant for the Tree Commission. And the application deadline is Friday, December 18th at 5 p.m.
Okay, so what you're saying is we have open positions on these commissions.
Yes,
And
and
we
they
want
can
to invite
apply
the public-
online,
We want to invite the public to apply.
please.
Very good. So,
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. There are a couple of mics that are open, so I couldn't hear Lucy. For the number of applications that you have for the Planning Commission in the various districts, could you do that again, please?
I have an applicant for District 1, an applicant for District 3, and an applicant for District 4.
Lucy, on the new list you gave us, you do have an applicant for District 2 as well. The list you gave us Tuesday.
Okay.
very good. So, once again, inviting the public to apply for those vacancies. Go online and look at those commissions and committees that you would like to serve.
Mayor, I got a
Yes,
question
Mr.
before we move forward. So on the last EDAC interviews, there was actually 3 really good applicants. It was actually very difficult to decide. So the question that I had is, could we expand the EDAC committee to more members? Because we do get quite a bit of no-shows sometimes on those meetings. And we didn't really want to lose out on good voices on there. So maybe that's something we can discuss and see about how to approach that.
That discussion takes place commonly. Whether adding more people to a commission helps with the attendance and the fulfilling of a quorum. I don't know if any of staff wants to chime in on their experience with that or their recommendation. If not, we could pursue it at a subsequent council meeting. Restructuring the EDAC committee. That's Mrs. Elm's commission, and so let's go to her, see what she has to say.
So yes, we did have good interviews, and based on the 3 vacancies that we knew would be happening at the end of the year, we felt it was appropriate to keep the number of commissioners that we have. Because historically in the past, this has actually been a commission where we have not had many volunteers or many people willing to be on this particular commission. So there are 3 vacancies, and right now the city clerk does have 3 applications, 2 of which were, folks that have applied before. So I would recommend that we keep with the number that we have, and if we get more willing participants in the future, more than what we have seats for, then we can look at expanding the seats. But for right now, I would recommend that we stay with the amount of commissioners that we have.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Elm. And these are discussions we can always continue to have as we go through time between our council members and our staff, always adapting to change and forward progress. So thank you, Director Elms, and thank you, Mr. Jones. The final recommendation is the Tree Commission, and I would like to move to appoint Councilmember Lambert to that interview committee. Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'd like to second that.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Motion by the mayor, second by Mr. Jones. City Clerk Maloney, vote roll call.
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes. Sorry about that.
okay, Lewis,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes. Thank you. Moving on now to appointment number 16, item number 16, appointment of a council member to serve on the Los Banos Downtown Property and Business Improvement District Board, the LBP bid. It's a 2-year term. That's a city council member. I would like to recommend and put in the form of a motion, recommend Councilmember Jones as that is his district. Do I have a second?
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Lambert, second. Any discussion? Hearing none. City Clerk Maloney, roll call vote.
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for serving on these committees and commissions. More involvement, the better. Now we move to item 17, Republic Services presentation. And for that, we go to interim Public Works Director now. Gazesh.
I love hearing that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I love saying it. I love there's such beauty in language. I'm a choir director, so
You and I agree on that.
I live
Yes,
in
you and I.
So please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor and members of the council, basically this item, I don't think it needs a whole lot of discussion. Recently, we have had a series of issues with the collection services, which Republic Services is under contract currently for. We have received a number of complaints from irate citizens that their trash is not being picked up. They recycle, their green cans are not getting picked up. And in some cases, the whole route, in many cases, they haven't been picked up for more than a day. In my own neighborhood, a couple of weeks ago, the recycle was picked up on Monday at 12:30, and the pickup is on Thursdays. So I can relate to all of these issues, and I can sympathize with residents who have experienced all these issues. And the council has voiced its concerns, and at the previous council meeting on December 2nd, the council directed the staff to ask a representative from Republic Services to come before the council, an explanation for why they are experiencing these issues and what their plan of action is to address these issues short term and also through the end of their current contract. I've had some conversations with Mr. Luis Quinones, General Manager of Republic Services, who is now online and is ready to make his presentation. Mr. Quinones.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Fred, and good evening, council members and mayor. Thank you. As Fred mentioned, my name is Luis Quinones, and I'm the general manager for Republic Services, overseeing our Central Coast and Central Valley operations. I was asked to come before the council to kind of talk about some of the challenges that we've been facing the last couple of weeks, and what our plan of action is moving forward. So given the current situation with that we find ourselves with the pandemic and also the transition of the franchise agreement, unfortunately, we have lost about a third of our drivers, as listed on the deck COVID, FMLA, and voluntary departures. As a result, we haven't had enough personnel to cover all the routes. And so, as Mr. Fred stated, we've been a day behind on most cases on collecting some of that material. And for about 4 weeks in a row, we ran Saturday routes to retrieve everything that was left behind for that week. On the next slide, I kind of talk about our interim and long-term solutions. So we have a plan in place, and I think in the last 2 weeks or so, we've seen an improvement on our service. The interim is we've been pooling drivers and resources from our local divisions, Salinas and Fresno, even from the Bay Area and out of state, to help cover the routes that are open. We're actively interviewing to fill those vacant driver positions because we still have till June 30th to provide a service for the city and customers. And so we are actively interviewing. So for the long term, the plan is to hire those drivers, properly train them, and to continue to provide that service and support for the remainder of the contract. And in the meantime, in the event that if we do have any more openings for, in the short term, we will continue to fill those with the local workforce from, as I mentioned, Fresno and Salinas. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Mr. Pozesh, did you want to have anything further to say or talk about, or would you like me to go to council for their questions?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only thing that I wanted to add is that once we received these calls from the residents, and we saw that they were persisting, and the council expressed its concern, we actually crafted a letter, and that letter is attached to the staff report. That letter was sent to the Republic, and that's all I wanted to add here.
Thank you very much. So we'll go to council. Councilmember Jones, any questions of Mr. Quinones or Mr. Pozesh?
No, they answered the majority of my questions. I just, I speak for the residents in Los Banos. It's been very frustrating with having short pickups here with our trash. And, all I know is that if we hire vendors for our own individual house and they don't perform, or they only perform at 90% or 70%, we don't pay them the full 100%. So I'd like the Republic to keep that in mind, that if this does continue, we're going to be pushing even harder next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Lambert, any questions?
No, sir. They answered the questions.
Thank you very much. Ms. Lewis?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And just for clarification of record, I was the council person that brought this request forward for Republic to come and speak to council. And I have this question for our city attorney. I thought that in my original request, that was what I was making, bringing before the council, is to have them come and speak to us. But in lieu of that, a letter was sent out giving them until January 31st to come up with a plan. And we've heard this plan tonight. Now, if this plan continues moving forward, and may I add a caveat to this, garbage was picked up in my district today, and for the fourth time within the last 3 months, my trash can was not picked up. Now, my neighbor's was picked up, and I looked down the street and I could tell by the position of the trash cans that everybody's was picked up. And it seems awfully strange that your driver can drive and see 2 cans sitting in a proximity, pick up one and leave the other. So I still have my trash sitting on the street that was not picked up today. And with that, if this persists, Bill, what is the plan for the city to activate any punitive damages as we move forward?
Well, I haven't been informed of a plan. However, there are liquidated damage provisions in the current contract that would apply to the types of service problems that you're alluding to. And they range anywhere from $150 an incident to $500 an incident. So I believe in terms of the plan, it's my understanding that Public Works was going to notify Republic of these issues, which obviously Republic knows they have these issues, and see if they could comport their activities to picking up people's trash in a timely way. Otherwise, we would revert to the liquidated damage clause, which, as I understand it, allows us to deduct those sums from their monthly payment.
Okay. So with that, do we have to wait until after January 30th, since that was kind of the date given to come up with a plan, although we're hearing a plan tonight? If this practice still persists, do we move forward and start collecting those fines from Republic, or are we going to sit back and let this go through January?
So I was not the author of that letter, and I think the January 30th date was for them, to allow them to provide us the information necessary to determine where the deficiencies were. But as I read the contract, we can institute the liquidated damages at any point that we want to. I think Fred authored that letter, so I'm not sure what the thought was in terms of the January 30th day. Maybe Fred can enlighten us a little bit.
Okay,
So I mean, the plan was to try to cooperate essentially with Republic, understanding that they had driver issues, and not bring the hammer down immediately in order to allow them an opportunity to cure their issue. But by the language of the contract, we can subtract those liquidated damages if we choose to do so. So
I just want to make a statement, and that is these issues didn't just happen in the month of November and December. This has been going on for a while. So I just want to publicly put that out there that, this is not a 2-month issue. This has been going on at least in this year. And although it may be due to COVID, we still have a contract that needs to be fulfilled and people's garbage that needs to be picked up. And that's just the immediate problem. There have been many problems that we've experienced with Republic, but I'm not going to get into that today because we're talking about this particular issue. And so I just want to make sure, based on what we're hearing tonight, based on the plan that has been presented to us, that hopefully we're looking forward to something happening very quickly to remedy the problem of people having their trash picked up 2-3 days later beyond the scheduled time. And if it continues to happen, then we need to move forward with whatever action the city needs to take. And I don't know if that needs to come back to council for a vote, or whether or not the city just moves forward and takes care of that problem. So I'd like to hear from you what your thoughts are on this.
Mr. Mayor, if I might.
Mr. Terrazas.
Thank you, Mayor. So the presentation tonight and does not preclude the city from moving forward with liquidated damages, with exercising the liquidated damages of the franchise clause of the franchise agreement. So the thought in submitting that letter to Republic was to put them on notice let them know that we were reviewing the contract, reviewing our internal data to determine their level of performance or lack of performance with the contract. Request information from Republic so we could reconcile their reports with our information and consider moving forward with liquidated damages and the extent of those liquidated damages. We've done some internal analysis of data. We're waiting for Republic's formal response to reconcile those numbers. Then we can determine what the next steps are. But we wanted again to put Republic on notice, let them know we were reviewing their performance, reviewing the contract, and let them know that we would determine how to move forward based on the data and based on input and direction from this council. So we are definitely will be reviewing the data and determining whether or not to move forward with that liquidated damages portion of the contract. We've had some conversations at the staff level with what that process would be. So hopefully that responds to your questions, council member.
That helps. And just for clarification, the letter was written by our former Public Works Director, Mark Page. So, you know, again, I sympathize with your problems, but, you know, as an elected official here in the city of Los Banos, my concern is for the residents here and for the price that we're paying you to do a service to make sure that it's done in a timely fashion. So we still have the problem, and I'm sure you still have the problem of drivers in our city. I appreciate you bringing forward people from San Jose, Fresno, and the Salinas area. But again, it's more than just that. You know, you have drivers that are just driving by cans and not picking them up and leaving them behind. So now I have to call in tomorrow to your company to get someone to come out and pick up my trash can. And like I said, this is the fourth time it's happened in a matter of 3 months. So it's a little bit annoying. So those are my comments right now, Mr. Mayor, on that. I'm looking forward to a fairly quick resolution on this because I'm sure other council members that are still on board, including yourself, have heard from residents in your district, and you know, there's not a whole lot that we can do at this point other than to say we're working on the problem.
It has been a big problem. Mr. Vaughn, Mr. Terrazas, would you need to bring to council if you were to go after liquidated damages, or is that something, would that need council approval to do that?
It's not as simple as it sounds, and we would like the opportunity to discuss it with the city council if we choose to take that course of action. It's akin to litigation and can lead us to litigation. So we want to have council's approval before we took that step, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. We could end up spending more in litigation than we would collect in damages, yeah?
Correct.
Okay.
There are, yes.
If I may, are you saying that per our current contract that those options are given to us, but it could end up in litigation? Is that what you're saying?
Well, there are other terms and conditions in the contract that talk about excuse from performance that may be applicable. So we would want to be, I think the liquidated damages trigger is kind of the last resort for the city. That's why we chose a path of talking to the hauler, encouraging them, and giving them time to remedy their issues. Should we make that deduction of liquidated damages? You know, that's the kind of thing that could be challenged at some point. So we don't want to turn it into a bigger issue than what it is now. So we would be looking for city council approval before we started down that course, I believe.
Very good.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn, Ms. Lewis. So, Mr. Pizash, Mr. Quinones, thank you for coming and explaining this tonight. Let's get this resolved quickly as possible. It is very disconcerting to hear this. We as elected officials hear it a lot, and we want to get the problem solved. So thank you for coming tonight so we can get it solved.
Yeah, thank you for the invite, and I'm in constant communication with the city staff, with Fred. So of issues that arise, we're responding accordingly. So thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
So if if we can conclude the Republic Services presentation, then we will move on to item 18, COVID-19 status update, and for that we go to City Manager Terrazas.
Thank you, Mayor. Usually as part of the update, I would refer to the Merced County data dashboard. Last time I checked it, which was a little earlier this afternoon, that data had not been updated. I believe what the website says, and I don't have it up. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. There's been some changes to the reporting process, and they hadn't been updating that case data over the last couple days. So I do not have an update in terms of numbers of cases for the council at this point. Lots of reports in the news about vaccinations rolling out in other parts of the country, and I believe California. It's my understanding that Merced County has not received our vaccines yet, or our allocation of vaccines yet. And although I don't have a specific date to share with the council, and at least that first rollout of vaccinations has not come to Los Banos, but it should be soon, is what I'm told. Other than that, I don't have, we still do have our 2 testing sites here in Los Banos. So if folks are interested in testing, those sites are still up and operational at the fairgrounds. Tuesday and Thursday, 8 a.m. to noon by appointment only. And then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the community center, again, by appointment only. So that's all I have tonight, Mayor, regarding COVID-19.
Thank you very much. Encourage everyone to stay safe, stay practices, stay well. Move now to item 19, advisement of public notices. And I understand we have one report, and for that we go to Community and Economic Development Director Elms.
Yes, so this item is for the Pacheco and Pioneer Complete Streets Plan. These plans will be held at a public hearing. They will be discussed at a public hearing by the Planning Commission on Wednesday, December 23rd at 5:30 p.m. using the GoToMeetings platform. Both plans will be in their final draft format, and that's based on the comments that we've received on the various workshops. Again, that'll be on Wednesday, December 23rd at 5:30 p.m., and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Director Elms. And that'll take us back to City Manager Terrazas for the City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to Councilmember Lambert. Welcome to the council. Look forward to working with you. Mayor Pro Tem Lewis, congratulations on your election to the council and serving as Mayor Pro Tem. Look forward to working again, continuing to work with you. Mayor Faria, congratulations. Look forward to working with you. I know we've spent a lot of time over the last few days together, and I know we'll be spending more time together. So we'll look forward to working with you as well. And again, congratulations. Thank you to Doronica and Mike for their service. But again, congratulations to everyone. Other than that, I think that's all I have. You will note on the next agenda item, slight revision to that agenda title to allow for an update regarding Peninsula Clean Energy. I think there was a request from Councilmember Lewis to make that modification. So just wanted to highlight that. There is a board meeting for PCE tomorrow. So at the next council meeting, we will provide an update on that board meeting. So with that, that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Terrazas. Report of Merced County Association of Governments. Their meeting this month has been canceled. Peninsula Clean Energy, as you mentioned, their meeting is tomorrow. And I, as the mayor, will serve automatically on that board. I can also choose, we can also choose to appoint a substitute if I can't make those meetings. They are virtual. And that is tomorrow evening at 6:30 that they will meet. And then Measure B committee, I haven't been given any information particularly on that, but I'm sure I will be brought up to speed on that very soon, especially once we get back going to the MCAG, when MCAG resumes their meetings in January. So with that, we'll move to our city council member reports. And our first report tonight is Council Member Jones.
Brett, your microphone's not on. Sorry.
There we go.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, this is for City Manager Terrazas. I just want to make sure we have in our SATA path coming up here. Our design standards for developments, to update those, and our standards and specs for roads, streets, common areas, and so forth from there. Just because I know there's going to be future developments coming up, I just want to make sure we're ready and we're not going to delay those developments because we took too long to update our needs and wants in our future developments. So I just want to make sure we get that going, and I'd like to make that a request formally. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Lambert.
Well, if I just get a minute here, I would like to say thank you, all, Mayor, the councilman, for welcoming me in, and I look forward to working with every one of you guys. And nothing else to report.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert. Welcome to the City Council. Looking forward to working with you as well.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the residents in the city of Los Banos who came out and basically participated in our Christmas parade. I thought I'd never see the car stop coming. There were so many people, and it really made my heart feel joyful that even though we had a limited amount of entries in our parade, our residents still came out and supported us. So thank you to all the residents in Los Banos. Thank you to the chamber and to the supporters who backed the parade. I wanted to add that this year I received an award from the chamber for the best humor and the funniest entry. And I'm going to hold up the reason why I got it to these two little things. Come on, show your face. They were in the car with me, and everybody really loved them. So it wasn't because of me; it was because of my little baby. So I want to thank the judges for voting for me for that award. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to set them down. Okay. One of the things that I think the city council has to do an appointment for is a council member to the EDAC committee, because council member Johnson Santos accepted that position a couple of months ago when it came up for appointment. So just a reminder, Mayor, that there needs to be an appointment from council from the council to seat a council member on that EDAC committee. And this is for Alex. If you could be prepared in our January meeting to give an update as to where the city is in the hiring or interviewing to find a traffic engineer to do the study for traffic mitigation for our collector and arterial streets, I would appreciate that for our January meeting. And I want to thank Councilmember Johnson Santos for her time that she dedicated to serve on the council. It was a pleasure serving with her. And Councilmember Lambert, congratulations on your election. And I also look forward to working with you. And for former Mayor Mike Villalta, I know that when Mayor Faria and Mike ran in 2006 for council, I ran also, and they beat me. I was the third person in line, so it was a good election then, but it wasn't my time, and so I appreciate the service that both of you guys gave to our council and the energy that you gave. Michael is a go-getter. You know, he will dig and dig and dig on things that are important to the city, and he's brought some really important issues forward that we needed to take care of, and some of the things have already been taken care of, and there are things that still need to be taken care of. But I want to thank him for being diligent and just a go-getter, one who was tenacious and didn't give up. So I appreciate all of his effort and everything that he's done for the city in the time that he served on this council, both as a council member and a mayor. And with that, lastly, I just want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. Be safe, and look forward to seeing you all back in the beginning of the year, January 2021. And I hope the new year brings everybody a better perspective on life and everything that it encompasses. And we can put 2020 behind us. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the time.
Thank you, Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Lewis. And my report tonight, first of all, thank you, Veronica and Mike. Veronica was my student all those years ago. It's a great honor to see a student grow up and get involved and do such great things. Mike was my administrator at the junior high for about 20 years. And I got to work with him at that level, and then here for another 14. And the go-getter is a good word. He always put Los Banos first. He made sure the county put Los Banos, make sure that the county had Los Banos on their map. And we've seen that with the various things like Measure V and other items, his representation at MCAG, and his active participation in so many committees, work countywide, and now to see this final success of getting this migrant camp housing available for homeless is just a great accomplishment. The council, under his leadership, set the city on a financial track, which now enables us to move forward with all the great things we're going to do, especially once this COVID-19 passes. I want to thank everyone who ran in the election, because elections are not only about winning and losing, they are more about conversations. And it gives the public a chance to let their elected officials know what it is that they want and what it is they need. And we heard loud and clear so many different issues, and we will be addressing them. Unlike a sports championship, winning an election is not the end of the season, but the beginning of one. It's one in which we all revel in our successes as a community, and one in which we all face our challenges together as a community. So we look forward, moving forward, look forward to the holiday season now. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all the holidays we celebrate. In Portuguese, we have a saying, boas festas, which means have good celebrations. And so we want to wish everyone a wonderful holiday season. We want to thank the staff for all their hard work. And I want to thank the citizens for putting your faith in me. I will do my best to fulfill your needs and requirements as your mayor. Now, I understand we need a motion to adjourn.
Mr.
So,
Mayor, I will
Ms.
make
Lewis?
that motion, but before we do, please forgive me. I didn't acknowledge you, and I want to just thank you for running for office, and I'm sure you're going to do a wonderful job. And you've been on this council. You know a lot about what's happened in this city and what it took to get us where we are today. So thank you and congratulations on your success as mayor. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting tonight at 6:50.
If I may, I'm going to be out of order here, but Mr. Lambert, congratulations. Congratulations on your successful run for council.
Thank you.
I get so caught up in all my various recognition that sometimes I forget some of the important ones as well. So forgive me. Congratulations. Looking forward to working with you. And now, Ms. Lewis, that motion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting tonight at 6:16 p.m.
Do I have a second?
Mayor, I second that motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Lewis, a second by Mr. Lambert to adjourn. Roll call vote. Ms. Maloney?
Jones,
Yes.
Lambert,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Korea.
Yes. Meeting adjourned at 6:17. My clock on my computer is wrong. So the 6:17, is that our time?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Good night.